All right, Shalom, first and foremost, giving all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash for the spirit to do this lesson. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. Shalom to the men of the Lord, prophesying, preaching, and teaching on the highways and byways in sincerity and in truth. Shalom, Barakatham. Through the spirit, I want to come back and comment, make a quick video, real brief on this. Is on this rhetoric that we're hearing come out of the East regarding America. You can see the two signs here, and those two signs, those two flags that you see on the screen, those are very representative of America, man. All the bulk of this nation, this so-called nation, I should say, is basically entertainment and degeneracy. All right, and Netflix represents the entertainment, and the side on the left, which I'm not going to say, represents degeneracy. All right, and Netflix represents entertainment. All right, and that's caused basically confusion, and now you see why the Most High refers to this place as Babylon the Great. You know, it says after Afghan defeat, we must realize that not everyone wants democracy with Netflix and Alphabet, marches. Senior Ukrainian official. Now, this came from the Ukraine, all right? And they definitely, so the Ukrainians are coming out against it, the so-called Edomite nation. They're basically Russians over there. There's a lot of Jakes out there too, in close to like Albania, Romania, Eastern Europe. There's a lot of Jakes all throughout that region from the Byzantine era. But predominantly the ruling class are Edomites coming out against this, all right? And this is about Afghanistan, so the Taliban over there, they're not for this culture, man. It says the American failure to defeat the Taliban and build a strong democracy in Afghanistan proves that not everyone has signed up to the West ideology. The world doesn't want to take part in idealistic political experiments, all right? Because America has just basically been manipulating everybody for years and years and years, putting sanctions on people, undermining their economy, starting wars, setting up shop in their country, taking their resources. That's what Afghanistan has been about. They have enormous amounts of poppy fields, all right? And if you know anything about the poppy flower, it's basically where they get all types of heroin, opioids. They all derive from that flower. In that field, and Lord willing, I'll get this real quick. Look, the Taliban are sitting on 1 trillion worth of minerals the world desperately needs. Well, who the hell are you to say that the world desperately needs it, man? It's theirs. It's in their land, all right? According to your rules. Now, everything on earth belongs to Israel. We know that, but we know that there's trillions of dollars, and when you look into what those minerals are, man, it's very, very precious to today's economy, man. There's lots of copper, huge veins of copper, of gold. They have they have one of the largest veins of lithium in the world out there. Now the problem is it costs money to drill all of that out, but they've basically scouted out that there's a ton of it there, and now you see why they're over there, right? That and the opioids, and which has been single-handedly propping up a lot of the economic growth in the pharmaceutical area. All right, that's why they've been there for 20 years and trying to so-called nation build. And these other nations don't want anything to do with you. They know why you're there. The jig is up. They don't want your culture, your rhetoric over there with degeneracy and overeating, being over entertained, in this overly happy spirit that leads to your destruction. People, the nations are through. They're fed up with it, man. Let me get the precept. This is Revelation 18 And 21 it says, and a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. So it's got this place. And you watch that show Westworld, it has a saying in that show Westworld. It says, violent beginnings have violent ends, or something along those lines, you know. And that's very much true, man. When you start something off in violence, that's how it's going to end. It's going to end in violence, most likely. And America, she thought they had this thing behind them because, you know, they freed Jake. All right, they started giving you civil rights and trying to include you in different things. When then the whole thing was just a snare. All they did was bring more people into the workforce, and they're taxing the hell out of you, working the hell out of you, and they still don't. And you still have the same amount of wealth as you did when you first got out of the slavery in the 1800s, man. The same amount of wealth. You haven't gained not one thing. And not only do you not have that wealth, Esau has tricked you into thinking that paper dollars is wealth, and it's not. Okay? Land, labor, and autonomy. That's the recipe for wealth. Okay? And this place, that's what Babylon has become, man. And what's going to happen is Esau thought he's put this thing behind us, but it's not going to end the way that he had planned it. Why? Because he started this thing in violence. So that's how the Most High is going to end it, man. And that's coming soon. A lot of you so-called Americans are getting ready to die horrible deaths, and there's no better way to say it. All right. It says, and the voice of harpers and musicians and of pipers and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in these. So all of this bullshit, all of these artists, Meg Thee Stallion and Cardi B and Rolling Loud concerts and Coachella and all of this shit about to be shut down permanently. It says, and no craftsman whatsoever craft he be shall be found any more in thee. All right. So no more manufacturing. That's basically gone already. All right. Even the weapons that you manufacture here, that's going to be gone too. What is this leading up to? We're going to read it. It says, and the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee. And the sound of the millstone is a sign of an economy working, grinding together. All right. And when that economy grinds to a halt, that's basically when you have people in the MOTB system. All right. Where Esau is just distributing what you call universally basic income, UBI, where you basically get an allowance. All right. Except this allowance, he's not going to be giving out cash or dropping into a bank account. You're going to have that mark. And nobody's going to be working. All right. The food's going to be rationed. Cities are going to be closed off, shut off. This is all prophecy. And it's coming soon. And it's going to be all under the guise of this so-called outbreak, I should say. That is obviously being controlled. I don't know how y'all can't see it. He's done this over and over again. False flags. He did it in Afghanistan. All right. He said, "Oh, they hit the Twin Towers, so we got to go over there and fight Al Qaeda." Well, Al Qaeda hasn't been in Afghanistan in 15 years, as far as they know. They killed Osama bin Laden. They still there. All right. So that whole thing was just that whole situation was just a ruse to get over there and take over other regions, man. And it wasn't just Afghanistan. They went into Iraq. All right. They're starting shit with Iran. They went into Libya. They went into Yemen. They went into all these different countries under the same guise, under this wicked act called the Patriot Act. And that's one of the wickedest laws he's passed. And that's what these nations understand now. All right. It says, and the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and the voice, Salaki, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. All right, so that means the truth isn't going to be here anymore. All right, it says, for thy merchants were the great men of the earth, and that includes all you other countries that even the enemies of America, China, Russia, they all trade with them. India, Saudi Arabia, Germany, Japan. All right, the UK, all of these other nations. It says, for by the sorceries were all nations deceived. All right, and sorceries really goes into, let me get it just to confirm the fact. Pharmakia, all right, the use of administering drugs, poison, all right, poisoning, sorcery, magical arts, and that's one of the main things they got over there in Afghanistan. All right, see if it mentions it here. It doesn't mention it, but Afghanistan has a very large amount of poppy fields out there. Okay, so that's part of that, and that's part of the sorcery. Everybody's drugged up, and they've created social media. That in itself is one of the biggest drugs. All right, it's way too easy to destroy yourself, and that's why this place has got to be destroyed itself. All right. It says, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived, and now they're no longer deceived. They're coming back against you. It says, and in her was found the blood of the prophets. Now you know what happens when you touch Israel, the Most High's people, let alone the elect, let alone the prophets. All right. It says, and in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints. All right, so that's the men doing the work, and those the rest of the elect. It says, and of all that were slain upon the earth. All right, so America, you're responsible for this, and one of the main things we would see is other nations coming against you like that. Said we don't want this Netflix and bullshit over in our culture. It's destroying you. Anybody can see that this place is on a rapid decline. That it's hollow. It looks shiny on the outside. All these promises you made to come to America, but when you get here, it turns out this is the worst place to raise a child. They become degenerates. They don't have real food here. At least in third world countries, most of the food is real. It may be hard to find a meal, but here food here is in abundance. But it's all poison. It's all destructive. All right. I didn't want to make this long, but this is Isaiah 47. I start at 6. It says, I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou verily heavily laid thy yoke. All right. So even on the seniors, the elders of our people, you did very grievous things, man. Mass atrocities, unmatched in world history. All right. It says, and thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever. There they go, referring to you as the lady again, because you are that whore of Babylon. All right. It says, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst thou remember the latter end of it. It says, therefore hear now this, that thou art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. And this is you. All right. This is written right. This is written basically in Revelation 18, what we just read. This lines exactly up with it. It says, but these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day. All right. And we know what that day is, that day that's fast approaching, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come up on thee in their perfection. That means he catching everybody, man. All right. That there's gonna be special judgments for everybody, man. There's gonna be kind of all kind of like crazy psycho killers gonna be getting unleashed out here, man. A lot of these crazy ass serial killers, man, they be doing all these creative ways of jacking a lot of you women. They're gonna get out of prison, and the ones that there's some of them out there that never went to prison, they're still out there. Okay, they're gonna turn up in that day. Animals, supernatural beings, all the shit you see on TV. The Most High is gonna make that a reality. He's gonna make that nightmare a reality. Bigfoot, werewolves, all of these different things. The Most High has the power to do that, and He's gonna do it if you can receive it. And it's gonna be like I keep saying, it's gonna feel like a portal from another world opened up. All these things that you thought were fiction and you thought were far off and couldn't touch you, it's gonna touch you. All right. This place is gonna be a waking nightmare, a lucid nightmare that you cannot wake up from. All right. It says again, they shall come up on thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. All right. In their perfection. So your worst fears are going to come true. And all of you people that trusted in this place and refused to let go of this place, you want to edge things out another year, 2 years, and you got plans to do this and that. Hey, the Most High is not dealing with you, man, if you're on that. Period. We should be hastening to get out of here for this guy to roll out this chip, because we know what time it is when that happens. All right. It says, therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it riseth. That's your pa. That's beautiful. It says, and mischief shall fall upon thee, thou shalt not be able to put it off. So you just gonna be catching hell all over the place, and not no normal hell either. All right. You're gonna have demons and you're gonna try to go to sleep. A demon's gonna attack you, and you're gonna wake up and see the wound that he hit you with is real. You're gonna really be bleeding. All right. These things are getting ready to happen, man. Okay. I know this through the spirit, man. You know. It says, thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come up on thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. So all y'all gonna be all laxed, thinking, oh yeah, I got the chip. I made it. I'm in the city, and and this and that and complete destruction is gonna hit you, man. It says, stand now with thine enchantments, with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. All right, because America has worked for this for hundreds of years, setting all of this up. All right, going, World War I, World War II, setting up this global economy. All of these things was to set up for the final battle. All right, in the Valley of Jehoshaphat. Now, once that happens, man, you better pray you're not in the path of the wrath of the Heavenly Father. All right, because he is pissed the hell off, and he's about to stomp all over you people, including you 2/3. If he's gonna do it to his own people, the rest of you heathen got it coming. All right, especially the ones of you over here in America. All right, so if so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail, thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsel. All right. and because basically you're going to get stumped when these chariots start rolling out, coming out everywhere, and the people got all these questions, and all these supernatural events start occurring. People start seeing apparitions, different strange creatures and sightings, things in the heavens you can't explain. All right. When people start waking up and your witchcraft stops working because the elect have woken up in mass numbers. All right. When not just Afghanistan, but the whole world sees your bullshit. Your counsels are going to be there. It's going to be fruitless. Okay. It says, let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. So we know Esau on the left hand side at the very top. These Rothschilds, these very shadowy, figures. These Edomites, Amalekites. We know they have counsel on the left hand side using astrology and all this nonsense. But it's not going to save you in that day. He says, behold, they shall be as stubble, the fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor fire to sit before it. And that's beautiful, man. You know. So this sign right here is a very strong indicator. We're getting ready to be out of here. All right, y'all brothers just got to keep the faith, keep pushing. Stay in this truth, man. Pray if you need to. Fast. The Day of Atonement's coming up pretty soon. All right. Be diligent, because this is the worst time to fall off. Okay, so I'll end it there. Basically, with that, I'll end it there. Hopefully, y'all brothers were edified. Call halal Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Rachakwadash, Wa Abba Babal, Shalom.